action. I've done a lot of interviews with people in optics, and I choose to only speak to legendary people, people that are unique in what they do. So if you watch this until the end and you work in optics, especially on the shop floor, Rob will unlock so many bits and pieces that will make your practice really stand out from the crowd. He's a friend of mine. I love him. He's technically brilliant and he's a legend. Rob, do you want to introduce yourself? Say hello.
Hey, Gary, we've known each other for so many years, and it's so nice to be welcomed into your community as well. Look, I'm just a humble guy in the background that makes all your lives, just fills in the pieces that regular manufacturing is not able to do. My passion is making sure everyone has the opportunity of perfect fitting frames. And that's really my optical journey from a humble technician, cut edge and fitting some 35 years ago, all the way through to today, where I'm just absolutely welcomed into the optical community and I love speaking to you all.
Well, I want to explore your past before we dive into what we're doing, but there's still opticians out there that cannot even thread a super frame, cannot even put a screw in a frame. And when people come and they say, "Oh, I've broken my frame," they're told it can't be done. Now, Rob can do literally practically anything. Now, how did you go from a technician to somebody that can make frames and change sides and spray things and 3D printing? How did you go from there to there? It kind of happened overnight, like a switch.
Yeah, my passion was to always be a really good technician. And that led me down the route of dispensing optics. And I was in the first cohort of the ABDO college. Um, And when we were doing our PQEs, my good friend at the time, he said, "Look, Rob, which practice are you going to go into?" I thought, do you know what? I'm not actually interested in going into a practice. I haven't thought about it at all because I'm a technician. He said, "Okay, what business are you going to buy that'll make the difference?" And there's this local lab just down the road for me, did repairing, did alterations. And I thought, I think the guy's ready to retire. Let's phone him up. And in the space of 1 week, I did all my PQEs, moved house to Exeter, and bought a business. So whilst people were revising for their exams, I was actually on the phone to the solicitor negotiating the purchase of Spec Care. And then when I left Canterbury or Gomersham, came back to Exeter with nothing but my CD collection and my duvet in the back of the car because I'd sold everything else just to afford the business, and it all started from there.
That's truly inspiring. And
Mm.
I bet not many people in optics know that. And I was speaking to Dr. Priti Batra the other day, and I didn't know that she went for an interview, like for a job, and then the owner was retiring. He said, "Do you want to buy my business?" Like there are so many interesting things in optics that you don't know until you uncover. And that, Rob, you're amazing. You're
Well, it's
amazing.
for me when I bought this business, I suddenly realised that Spec Care had been repairing my glasses from when I was a child. So I've been involved in this business, not only growing it with the amount of repairs I've been sending down from my own mischievous youth as well, but to actually then own the business. So it's been a lifetime's work, both as a customer and proprietor. But the thing that I really wanted to do when I took over is just to take the cottage industry of repairs and turn it into something more special, a support for my DO colleagues, where we can say, okay, we have this special facial characteristic, and I could thoroughly understand all of those discussions. Long before we even knew what an algorithm was, I was able to compute the uh, just all the instructions by phone and complete these objects.
Wow.
To start with, we were burning, banging, bashing, cobbling together
So,
just to make a pair of spectacles fits some children with tremendous challenges in their life that can only make us humble. And then we've adopted technologies like 3D printing, laser welding, splicing of acetates, just to make these children feel special. Special because they have a gift that nobody else has. They can see the world differently to what we can because they have that compassion built into them. I'm just an enabler to help them in their journey, which is amazing.
Oh my God. I like, if you're a younger person, if anyone, if I was to have like admiration for this man, like you really got to take your hat off to him. Maybe because I'm a DO, maybe because I just love wonderful human beings. Can we start with the basics, right? There'll be a lot of optometrists watching this and they're like, what are they talking about? So when it comes to the length of bend, that's from the screw to the top of your ear.
Mhm.
What
Yep.
frustrates me, and I see it on affluent people, on celebrities, is when the length of bend is either too long or too short. Rob, tell us, if you've got a
Mhm.
frame that the length of bend is wrong, either the arm is usually pulled up because
Yeah, yeah,
they've
yeah.
tried to adjust it round. What can we do about that? Tell us what we can do.
Well, we should all know the principles of shortening a metal side.
But
So
some
we
people
can
don't.
take the
Look,
yeah.
you got
So
optometrists out there, even
mhm.
dispensing opticians that are institutionalized. The well fitting of a frame, sometimes just you buy. So just so you know, the average frame that you pick off the shelf is 135 millimeters, and the drop should always be 35. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah,
Don't
well,
make
what
a
we're
mistake in
typically
front of
seeing,
an
because
expert.
yeah, because typically we see a lot of frames built and designed in the Far East. The We see length to bends which are completely disproportionate to the typical client base who are purchasing the spectacle. Side lengths of 145 on a small eye size. So if we look at a metal frame where we can actually just slide the end tip off, trim a little bit of the metal, trim a little bit of the tip, put them back
But there will
together.
be people out
That's
there
it.
not
Yeah.
confident to do that. You can
No.
send that to Rob. Like,
Mhm.
if it really, really is beyond you, you can measure the length to bend from the screw to the
Mhm.
top of the ear, send the whole thing to Rob, and he'll do it. But this is really easy to do. Maybe we'll do another
Well,
day. It's the
it's
easiest thing in the
using
world.
that principle, that ease and principle we use to adjust the plastic side. So what we do with a
Come on.
plastic side is we uh, heat the whole side, twist the plastic so it snaps away from the core wire. Then we cut it about 70 millimeters up the side, remove the whole sleeve, remove a piece of the metal, remove a piece of the acetate, and then splice it back together again. So even then, we're maintaining the original logo and the
And you
acetates at the
dip it
side.
in acetate. You can polish it.
It's
It'll be
dipped
like
in acetone.
seamless.
It is. It's the whole
Seamless.
job takes probably about 30 minutes of time to shorten a pair of sides, but that 30 minutes is spread over 3 to 4 days. Where just small amounts, little by little, until finally you have the piece
And
ready for
you've
people to
made a
watch.
bespoke frame there. Like, it can be
You have.
extended as well as shortened. So it really is frustrating. Now, something else I really find interesting is when patients take off their plastic frame and it's so tight on the bridge, and you think,
Yeah,
oh my
look, we
God, what can we do about this?
look, one of the things I've really enjoyed doing recently is actually getting back out on the road. I think that Gary, it's a long answer simply, but I've enjoyed teaching apprentices. I've enjoyed young people coming into my business, learning from them, but also giving my knowledge back. But now the next stage of my career is actually taking my knowledge on the road and showing as many people as possible what I do. But that way, the repairs and simple modifications can be shown to the country. And people are welcome to come to my workshop as well. I do a one-to-one instruction all day.
How much
Now,
does that
one of the
cost? How much
key
does that cost?
is £300 plus VAT.
Bargain. Far too
And
low.
if I
Get it in
travel,
now while it's
yeah,
cheap.
if I travel, it's the same cost plus my traveling fees.
Wow.
Now, the typical thing I teach is how to fit the nose pads, metal nose pads onto a plastic frame. It's a very simple modification when you know what you're doing, when you have the right tools and you have the confidence. And those are the things which we really, yeah, really need to understand it, that we don't need complicated tooling. A lot of my tools are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. But they were
Are they
built
your?
to
Are
a
they like
simple.
your friends?
They
I
are.
remember my first
They just
side
hold in
cutter.
the hand.
I
Yeah.
still love the very first tool I ever bought was a side cutter, and I
Mhm.
love it. I love it because you
So,
build a relationship with your tools.
mhm. Yeah, it's all very simple tooling. Well, so punching the screw out the side. Whilst I was doing one of my workshops in a practice, a lady came in, her sunglasses, the screw kept falling out the sunglasses. But not only that, the side kept going floppy. So the screw was working its way out the whole time. And it
Easy
was a
thing to
big
fix.
issue within the practice. Whilst I was actually doing the training, I was able to use that lady's spectacles as the example to fit them perfectly, stop the side from going loose. By
For me, what I'll look at there, if it's just spinning around and around and around, I'll try and get a bigger screw, maybe
yeah,
a tap one, the little green ones that Bondi sell. I'll look at the little teeth and maybe um, bring in the teeth of the rivet, and then
yeah.
it's tighter. There's a few things you
There's a
can do
couple
there.
of things. Using traditional tools, I show my delegates for the day how to actually cut a new thread. So you don't need these tapping and snapping screws.
Right.
We'll cut a 1.4 thread up to 1.6. Then you only actually need about 3 or 4 screws in your whole range that will fit every single frame ever produced.
Wow.
The other thing, if the sides continually go floppy, which is something we see,
It drives
it's
me
basically
mad.
down to old machining. When the frame is made, the joints are made. So you need to take the side off and make the internal hole very slightly bigger, because
Hmm.
otherwise the thread of the screw is touching the center chenier. Make that hole slightly bigger, the side closes and opens without moving the screw. So it's those simple things. Now, what I'm very typically seeing, Gary, if I just finish on that point, well, I told you it was a long answer. My workshops, I'm very clearly seeing a differentiation between the types of practice coming to me. The main practice who are coming to me are those who are going to be selling or are looking to buy in very high quality elite eyewear, differentiating themselves within their communities, because they know if they're selling high quality eyewear, they need to know how to service it. They need to know what can be done to repair it if it breaks. And they need to know how to recognize good quality eyewear from eyewear which is maybe has the price tag but not the build quality. So that is the type of practice who are generally coming to me.
And we're talking about putting diamonds on frames. We're talking about re-lacquering them to different colours. We're talking about a lot of bespoke things, right? You tell us a
Mm.
little bit about that high end practice.
Yeah, well, I think
Give us
very
a couple
typically
of examples of things you do.
yeah, we see a big range in materials which are used. There are a lot of modern materials used, and very typically, what we see within the workshop environment is frames which maintain a um, possibly frames which maintain a higher sale price, but the quality has actually been eroded away. So we're teaching people how to recognize that
Well, I'm wearing a
when they're
Kirk and
actually buying the
Kirk,
product.
and people, opticians, don't want to touch this because of the material.
It's such a shame. It's a wonderful material. It's it's confidence. If you're confident at using the material, it's an amazing product. The really lovely thing is it maintains its shape. Acetate frames can soften, loosen. An acrylic frame is going to maintain its shape. Once it's fitted, and Kirk and Kirk
I'm
doesn't
wearing
know
an
how to fit.
acrylic frame here.
Mm,
It keeps its luster. It's very
mm,
comfortable, really good. So sometimes on the shelf you've got a frame for £50. You've got one for 500. Say
mm,
like something I'm thinking high end, really beautiful frame.
mm.
And a lot of the opticians don't know Why? What's the difference? And it's the curate. These things are being heated, cooled, lacquered. A lot of time is going into the frame. And we need to know how to explain it. I think £300 is so good. Would you ever consider doing a virtual one that's recorded and people can pay it, and we can take you global?
Yeah, look, I've recently done a so yeah, just a training session for a young dispensing optician in South Africa. She just really interested to hear what I did. So I was able to open that up for her, which
Wow.
is wonderful. Is for me, my career now is fulfilled with the type of I'm so lucky. I'm approaching 50, but I've fulfilled every goal I wanted in my optical life, in my career, my family
That's
life.
special.
So I just feel so content with what I'm not chasing anything. I'm just maintaining what I do. And when people come to me, I can find a
No,
solution.
I love that. So,
And that's so I've this is where now the more people I can inspire outside of optics, better.
Rob, I know that when a patient wears their glasses to the gym
Mm,
and they're sweating, there's like this white residue at the top.
hmm.
And that's because it's dehydrated.
Yep.
And then on the very first cold snap in England, I've got a queue of people with acetate frames that are broken. So when we're talking about rehydrating a frame and bringing it
Hmm.
back to life, this is stuff you do, right? It
It
doesn't
is.
mean it's
Yeah.
gone just because you see that white. So you'll see it on the side, you'll see it there. Is it what can we do to bring that back to life?
This is also very typically for our modern life, which has affected us in the last 6 or 7 years. We're now using a higher degree of hygiene from alcohol, uh, hand washes, all the way through to lots more soaps and detergents. Now, all of those things age plastic. They remove the acetate is an oil-based product,
Yeah,
and those things remove the oil, dulling the surface. Now, there's a really, really great product on the market that before we start restoring a frame, we soak it for 2 to 3 days in this really well-known product, which nobody ever would have thought of using. So shall I share that? I'm going to share the name because the more people which know about things like this and actually want to have a go themselves, the better. Is WD-40. So I stripped the whole acetate frame down with a zip seal poly bag, the just regular frame bag, couple of squirts of WD-40 into that bag and leave the frame for 2 to 3 days. The
I,
oil really soaks into that, and then I start polishing the frame afterwards.
yeah, and I don't think any. Again, this is a confident thing. People won't do it. I recommend Vaseline sometimes. If it
Mhm,
really is poor, you could put some Vaseline on there. And opticians out there, if you're charging to £50 for a lens to own, a frame to own dispense, the justification there is at least put some Vaseline on the inside before you put some new frames in,
yeah,
tighten the
olive
screws,
oil is
olive
another.
oil,
Yeah.
do something for that £50, and then
Mhm.
it's justified. Otherwise, watch out. There'll be some program somewhere coming down the line saying opticians are ripping people off by using their own frame and doing absolutely nothing. At least do something. Tighten the screws. I like an old trick of mine. Any practice I've ever worked in, we have clear nail varnish. Put a dab of
Mhm.
clear nail varnish on those screws, and you've justified why you've charged
Yeah.
an extra £50. If you're not charging for frames, do it. Change the nose pads, give them back to life, and then you can justify charging 45, £50 for a remake.
No, one of the very clear things is that we're seeing practices now to create their key differentiation between high street models and group home models. They're choosing very, very nice curated ranges of eyewear. Uh, Now, when that client comes back in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, one of their questions is, I don't want to change my style. I would like to keep this
Fair
frame.
enough.
And our service here at Spec Care has always been about making our service of a high enough quality to be remunerated for the optician. So it's not just an afterthought of this needs repairing, this needs putting back together, saying actually we're going to be charging 80 or 90 pounds to send your glasses to spec care to be repaired because they're going to come back looking as close to new as possible.
Yep.
So that way,
And you
it
can
isn't
glaze too.
something.
You can glaze too. So
Yeah.
don't think it's going to add time. So you say to Rob, look, lens to home, bring it back to life, put him
Mhm.
a new pair of single vision, and you are saving time.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you know, it, we deal with eyewear here, which is decades old, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely
I
lovely.
just
It's
so happen to have something really old to hand.
wow.
Just happens to be there. Like this is older than me,
Yeah, yeah. It's at least 25 years old, Gary.
at least. So bringing things back to life. A sprung hinge without the spring is not a
Mm.
reason not to use that frame again. We can
No.
you can put new springs
Well,
on.
interestingly, Gary, if I just interject there as well, one of the things that makes our service different is because my knowledge of the supply chain, I deal with many of the factories who make eyewear for quite a lot of the companies, or who actually supply the components to factories that make eyewear. So I buy in a whole range of springs which go in the sides.
Wow,
So I've got about 50 different types of spring hinge.
wow.
So if somebody breaks a spring, using just a 1 millimeter drill bit, I can drill out the old spring mechanism and replace it with a brand new
Wow.
mechanism. So that way, a spring side is repaired as a spring.
Now, most people in practice don't even realize there's a spring in there because when it pops
Mhm.
out, it probably springs out into the carpet, never to be found again. So
Yeah,
there is a spring inside the sprung
there
hinge,
is.
and
Yes.
you've got to replace that spring. That's why you see
So
an empty.
it
And
is.
it makes me laugh
There's,
when people use super glue
mhm.
on the sprung hinge and it just stays like
It's when
frustrating.
just by the end of the spring, there's little claws which come out and they sort of catch inside the rectangular barrel. So what we need to do when we drill down inside is we break those claws away, and then the spring just falls out, and then we pop the new spring in.
Now,
So
I've we've got 100% optical coming up.
yeah.
You might be reading Rob's article, and there's a QR code that comes to this particular um, podcast. It deserves longer to spend with Rob. This is just a small taster. I will also put a QR code on how you can find out more about Rob. Now, Rob and I did something pretty spectacular earlier on in the year. We heard that Norville's was in trouble and in distress, and we tried to actually buy it, Rob and I, and that was pretty cool. Like, I want everyone to know that Nelson Mandela said, "It seems impossible until it's done." Robert, you're an inspiration. Like, nothing is beyond your capabilities or what you do, and I'm so proud to call you my friend.
Gary, that is so welcoming, so warming to me that yeah, those things it really brings me into check sometimes. And I think the thing that I've always found in optics is I'm I'm never working. I'm never uh, with my family. I'm either at spec care, I'm at home because it's just all part of my life. I don't have work. I don't have these are just different
But
phases,
other people
different
find
parts of
that
my life.
hard. Don't
And
they find it hard? I was at the pub with my friends yesterday, and they said, "But Gary, what's your purpose? You work so much. You're working all the time." I said, "But it's not really work to me. I'm having
no,
fun."
it's not.
And they couldn't. They said, "Gary, you need therapy or something because you're mad. You're always working."
Well, this is where the friends we have in optics, friends me like yourself, we are not resigned to the 9 till 5, or in our cases, being highly energetic, the sort of 4 o'clock in the morning to say 5 in the afternoon. It is any time of day, any time that
And when you
we
love what you do,
something fires in the brain and we communicate. We're friends.
and
That's it.
for me, if you're walking past me and I can see your length to bend, like on yesterday, there was a lady with a rimless frame, and they had bent it so much it was riding up, and they tightened it so much it was so tight that it was pushing forward. I couldn't help it. I wasn't in work, but I got a
You got to
clock.
go for it.
I fixed it for her. It gave me such a sense of satisfaction. So
But
on my first day in optics, my pre-reg supervisor, her name was Haley. I asked Haley, I said, Haley, what's your favourite part of the job? And she said to me, I love adjusting frames. I feel like a surgeon. And at the time, I thought, that's a weird thing. I totally get you, Haley. I totally get you. Fixing frames. So we're gonna wrap things up, but I'd like to share with you something so simple. When a patient comes into practice, just lift the frame and pull it towards yourself. There's no need to look behind the ears. If there's movement there, you know it's too loose, right? Then go on to stage two. Now, something that was taught to me is go with the problem. So if the right is too high, take it off and take the pantoscopic tilt higher. If one side is closer to your face than the other, go with the problem. Go with the problem, people, and you can't go far wrong. Of course, the pantoscopic tilt should be at 10 degrees, and you can do that by eye when you're experienced. So look at the one that's closest to 10. You don't want it too close to the cheek. So adjustments is an art. It doesn't take long to learn, but it takes a lifetime to master. And I'm here with a master. Do you want to wrap up with a tip, Master Rob?
yeah, the tip is send your stuff to spec.
Ah, there you go. There you go. It's a
The
great
tip
point.
is be confident about what you're doing, but also if you know the product you are handling and you know what its limitations are, then you can be confident. So I'm happy to provide that training, or like myself, like with Gary, we learn from experience as well. But may I just leave with a couple of the extra applied bits I do? So
This is the
one of the
fun bit.
biggest challenges,
Rob's prepared for this, by the way. This is the fun bit. What's this?
well, one of the biggest challenges we've encountered in pediatrics is microtia, where there's no external ear. So the parents typically think, okay, yeah, I don't want my child to have a headband for the glasses, a headband for the hearing aid. So we've created these really cool little clips, almost like a closed peg clip, where the hearing aid head band goes through here. And these clips just clip right onto the end of eyewear. These are my own Exeter eyewear designed frames. So then we have
What
this clip.
what baby frame is that?
This is an iPlay frame by Exeter Eyewear.
I love that. The fact
It's worth noting
that
myself
can you see this?
as yeah, it's worth noting myself. I just do all my own CAD design and work here in Exeter
So
as
that
well.
frame has been handmade,
No,
but
no, the frame has been designed by me here in Exeter, and
and it's a
then it's
3D print.
produced. It's injected. No, it's injection molded. The frame,
That's
but this
so cool.
adaptation on the end, which clips under the headband, that's been 3D printed in Exeter,
Wow.
and it just clips off.
And look, for
So
those that
long.
are observant, you can see the length of bend there. You can undo the little screw and make it longer so it grows with the child. Children have growth spurts, and that's how much does that cost to opticians to buy that Exeter frame baby frame?
This frame is £24.85.
And
One of the cool things with this
wow,
as well, look at this, Gary. Look, we've got asymmetric nose pad
nice,
fitting on here.
nice.
So we can move the two nose pads
Do you
independently
come?
from
Does
each
it
other.
come with different bridge sizes, or you just go with one and adjust it?
Well, we have four different bridges that can be fitted onto the frame, uh, and two of them have the asymmetric adjustment on the frame. But because of the CAD work I do, I'm also able to, so we move that forward a little bit into more like elderly care, and we can then 3D print side shields
Oh, I like that.
onto the frame,
Great idea.
which is absolutely great. And one of the things which I find really cool and really helpful, we occluder lenses, not
Oh,
just the black lens, but we actually 3D print them with the cup on the side to fully occlude the eye, even from the side as well as the front.
There's
So it's
so
all of
many
those things.
solutions here, and can I say, when you provide the solution, when a patient goes everywhere, and you're the person that provided that solution, you get such brand loyalty. They'll keep coming back to you. They'll tell their friends. It's not that much extra to offer these things. This is amazing.
Yeah, we genuinely are an Exeter based. Everything's under one roof here. And then if I'm producing frames, I outsource it, and then my business is Exeter Eyewear. I outsource them. Bondi, I absolutely everybody's heard of Bondi. Bondi distribute my products as well, my frames, Exeter Eyewear, iPlay, the new Vibes range for larger kids, and the 2024 Optician Award winning frame, Sea Creatures, which is your build your own children's eyewear.
Love that.
Great thing, build your own eyewear. You can have independent side lengths, a 105 on one side and a 125 on the other. You can have any colours you want, and every frame is built by me by hand here in
Rob, will
Exeter.
you come back for a version 2? You're going to
Yeah.
be at Bondi stand over the 3 days that
Bondi
you said.
stand, the 3 days. So I shall be I shall be talking
And he's going to be
incessantly,
swamped.
non-stop. By Monday, I'll probably just be down to a whisper, but come and catch me.
Go and catch Rob, because
Mhm.
you won't catch him. Speak to a nicer person in optics. He'll give you your time. He'll talk to you. £300, what a bargain. Rob, will you come back on this show, on this podcast one
Definitely,
more time? I think it deserves a
definitely.
number 2. This is way too short for me. I would love your feedback. If you're watching or listening to this, make a comment down below. I'm sure Rob will make a comment. Rob, you're the best. I gotta go.
Gary, you're a very good friend, as as everybody is in optics as well, and I look forward to meeting you all again very, very
In a
soon.
couple of weeks. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Super. See you up in London.
That's a
All
wrap.
the best.